my little light. There it is. Welcome
There
to
we
Writer's
go.
Life. Yeah. Welcome to Writer's Life, the place where you get the sights, sounds, smells, taste of my particular writer's life, where you get the truth about my writer's life anyway. This is how they used to write, with these kinds of pens.
Yeah.
Little dip it in ink, I guess. Or blood, right, Troy?
Yeah, something like that. Blood.
Dip them in blood.
Yeah. It's a good weapon. I mean,
Yes.
instrument of
Yes.
creativity.
Yes.
That's
Both.
what I meant to say. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Go to vinceandrew.com, grab your all the brand new thrillers, Hitchhiker, Her Darkest Secret, White Wedding, going to be featured at ITW next month, which is cool. And what else? I don't know, just go and Passion Play is out now. The first episode in Handyman season 4. This is the end. This is the end of it, folks. Last season.
Sweet.
The last steamy season, but it's cool. It's a cool mystery, cool thriller. So grab those. I got to work this out. So like it says Troy Lambert over here. Anyway,
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, I have Troy here. Troy is poet laureate. He is he's a best-selling author. He is a nonfiction author. He's an editor, and he is the El Presidente of the Idaho Writers Guild. And presently, he is not only taking care of all that stuff, he's traveling all over the West, I think, right?
We're in the
RV.
Midwest. We're in the Midwest. This is about as far east as I plan to go in this thing. I'm telling you.
So you're in there right now, huh?
Yeah.
Wow,
Pretty
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
So, like, is it an older RV or is it?
Ours is an 05. It's an
Okay.
05, which is actually it's actually better than some of the newer ones. It really
Right.
is. They built them different. It's some higher quality materials. A little heavier than some of the newer ones. What they did was design them to be pulled by anything,
Okay.
and so you can pull them with a pretty light car, but the materials are pretty cheap, stuff like
Right.
that, so they don't last. So
Right.
this one's a little heavier, but designed to last a little longer. I got a big old truck I'm pulling it with, so it's fine.
What's it got? Like one bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchenette?
It's pretty much just, it's all one room, but we got a bedroom, kitchenette, bathroom, and the bathroom, has a tub, a shower, whole deal.
Nice.
It's a pretty cool, pretty slick deal.
That's
So,
awesome. And it's just you and your girlfriend right now. You're seeing family and seeing sights and stuff like that.
Seeing family, seeing sights. Went to Mount Rushmore. Yesterday.
Awesome.
Well, day before yesterday we went to Rushmore. Yesterday we went to this reptile gardens exhibit in Rapid City. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
So, yeah, pretty wild stuff.
I have not seen our country, Troy, other than the coasts. I mean, I drove to Colorado, Aspen skiing once in 2 days from Albany, New York. In a it was snowing inside and outside the car just to keep us going. And so I didn't see any of it really, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we had fun.
Yeah, it's this is definitely different. We're taking more time to see stuff because I mean you kind of have to. An RV, you can't be, you're not breaking any land speed records for this thing. So
Right.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I think that's true. And you do all your writing in there and all that sort of stuff.
yeah. I've got a setup. I've actually got a portable monitor, so I've got dual monitors and little keyboards and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty much, it's not quite as fancy as my home setup, but it's nice.
Yeah, your home setup is like, it's like NORAD. You'll have to bring out pictures one day.
Yeah.
And so you're not cooking meth in there, like Breaking Bad.
No.
Huh?
No. But we just started rewatching that not very long ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah. As I love the writing in that is so good. And I mean, anyway, it's just, I mean, the pilot episode, the theme for the whole series is stated right there. I mean, it's just, it's beautiful writing. Just really well done.
I like anything Vince Gilligan does. Anything.
Yeah.
And
genius guy.
He did the X-Files, and he was like 24.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a guy that's like when he wrote Breaking Bad, he never thought anybody would ever put it on TV. I mean, like nobody's ever going to put this on TV, but
Really?
I got to give it a shot. He wanted to write it anyway, wrote it, and all of a sudden AMC said, "Yeah, we'll take that." And man, what a game changer! What a
What a
game
game
changer!
changer. And
Yeah.
before we go into other topics, I guess the character of Jesse was only supposed to be like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And the more you watch it, but everybody took such a liking, and that they worked so well together, they kept writing him in.
Yeah.
And like you notice these little things, like I've seen it like twice now. Now this is my 3rd go round, and like, and I'm not giving anything away, folks, so don't worry. But like the sister-in-law, she becomes more of a sympathetic character as things go on too. Originally, she's like a kleptomaniac,
Yeah.
and they kind of got rid of that.
Yeah. She kind of like I don't remember exactly how it happened, but she changed,
Yeah.
and it's always interesting to see how characters develop throughout the different stories.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of what we try to do too, but
I think
it
so.
was really interesting how the whole thing played out, and like how he had the whole general concept, you know, all mapped out, but really really nailed a lot of the details. Super
Yeah.
well done.
Very, very, very well done. And you catch a hole here now and then, like when the car wash owner makes him go outside and dry the cars and all that sort of stuff, and that asshole from his chemistry class is like, "Oh, look who it is, Mr. White," and he's
Yeah.
like humiliated. But Mr. White would have cashed him in
Yeah.
earlier on, so he would have known he was there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
not going to bore everybody with my stupid.
Yeah, no. Little stuff like that. Yeah.
Hey, Tim. Tim's chiming in. So Troy, where are we at? What's going on? What's the hot news other than Polis Books shutting down and
Well,
Publishers Weekly writing like this? I've never seen anything like it. Polis Books shuts down, leaves all these authors homeless, and even though they say they're trying to find homes for them, and Publishers Weekly does a puff piece on it. Like,
yeah.
in what world do we live in where that happens?
Well, I mean, a part of this is so there's a certain amount of death of journalism related to writing to the publishing industry. And I mean, because this is really interesting. Like, we had this big merger going to happen, and we had all this testimony in front of Congress where basically publishers told us they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know how to sell books. And the press about it was paid attention to by writers and a few people in the industry, but it wasn't paid attention to by anybody else. So it's interesting that Publishers Weekly and some of these places don't it's like they don't want to anger the big 5 publishers still
Right.
by reporting what is actually happening. Because big 5 publishers are in a position where they need to reset. They know they need to reset. And there's all kinds of wild stuff going on. But probably one of the biggest news things that happened was, the Romance Writers of America declared bankruptcy.
Which is just shocking to me.
It doesn't shock me at all, considering what's happened over the last few years and the changes with local chapters and stuff like that. I was surprised it took them as long as it did, because they had all kinds of commitments to hotels and stuff like that for conferences that weren't happening, because their membership dropped from 10,000 to 2,000 over the last several years, which is a huge drop. And I mean,
Right.
all writing organizations are struggling with membership, dropping,
Right.
but the thing that was shocking first of all, Romance Writers is not dead. People are like, oh, it's dead. No, it's not dead. They declared Chapter 11. They're reorganizing. But the truth is they're less relevant than they used to be. They used to be a powerhouse in the publishing industry, and they're less relevant than they used to be. And they could be more relevant if they want to, but they're going to have to make some changes, for that to happen.
Right.
So
now,
it'll be interesting.
What is the new role? What is the newer role of these organizations? Because I can't tell you the last conference I've been to. I haven't been to one in years, and it hasn't hasn't hurt me at all. It hasn't
So
helped, but it hasn't hurt either.
there's a struggle. So for newer writers, especially, conferences can be really important, to
Right.
establish networking, stuff like that. Now, once you have a writing network and stuff like that, you don't necessarily have to go to conferences. For me, some of it is the fun of networking and hitting the bar afterwards and all that kind of
Right.
stuff, you know.
Yep.
Um, but really, the role of these organizations is to nurture new writers and help them choose the right path to publication because there are so many different options out there now.
Right.
It used to be that, so there are several romance authors I know who got their first contracts, the first contract with agents and editors because of Romance Writers of America. Okay, that made sense at the time. It doesn't make as much sense anymore, right?
Right.
Because you don't always need an agent, especially in romance. If you're writing niche romance
Right.
that's got a good solid niche on Amazon or anywhere else, you don't need an agent or a publisher to sell books. You just need to write good stuff and keep doing it, you know. Um,
Sure.
but anyway, so I think that that role is over, and the new role is to help people find their path to publication when they're first starting out and help them decide which way they need to go. And it's also education, networking, all that kind of stuff. But the problem with romance writers was they didn't adapt. And there's a couple other large organizations that are struggling too. And they're struggling to adapt to the fact that the publishing landscape is different now than what it used to be. And you can't operate as if it was what it used to be. It doesn't work that way anymore. And so unless they make those changes, those organizations are going to struggle as well because younger writers are asking the question, why do I need to join that organization? Pay dues to another organization, pay another membership, give somebody else some of my money. Why do I need to do that in today's world? And
Right.
I have this exact same question for organizations. Like, if you want me to join, why? Like, what's my
Sure.
benefit? And there needs to be a good benefit. And one of the biggest struggles of those organizations is to define that benefit and to
Right.
help writers understand why that's valuable. And younger writers are struggling to understand how valuable that networking and conferences and things like that are, especially when you're first starting out. You
Right.
know, so
Yeah.
yeah,
That's why I like international thriller writers. It's still, if you qualify, it's still free. And to me, just being able, like you and I are prolific, so we put out enough stuff where you could have in their monthly magazine, The Big Thrill. I don't think I've gone a month in a year without having something included, as a new release. And I think
yeah,
that's a good, that's worth the service alone.
yeah.
Um,
Well, and
they'd
their
be good to me.
conference is stellar. I mean, they bring in big names and it's solid,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And the networking with international thriller writers, and even just the name of, hey, I'm an associate member of International Thriller Writers.
Right.
That means something. It means you've been published by the right publisher, you're
Right.
qualified, that type of thing. Same thing with NINC, Novelist Inc. That's one of my favorite organizations as well. But you have to prove that you're a pro to join. You can't just
Sure.
go to their website, pay some dues, and sign up, right? You
Right.
have to prove that you're eligible to join, that you actually make money from your writing, all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Yep.
So, um, eh, that anyway, so organizations like that, I think they're going to survive. I think a lot of organizations are going to survive, but they're going to struggle to thrive in the way that they have been before. Mystery Writers of America and Sisters in Crime are both ones that are having to reinvent themselves and think
Yeah.
about, like, what does today's publishing market look like? I mean, and let's just be honest about what that looks like and what we need and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I was shocked considering romance still, I mean, if you're a romance
Oh
writer,
yeah.
you're just killing it.
Still still top seller, still the top seller always, but part of the issue is I think that um the organizations again were not adapting to what that publishing market looks like for romance writers. And
Right.
so romance writers are saying, why is this relevant? And the other part Romance Writers of America is they had some, after one of their big leadership shakeups, essentially they had some issues with racism and with not, basically just not embracing any kind of equality or anything like that. And I mean, it just hurt them as part of cancel culture. And, um, and the truth is, no matter what we think of that, it's really a thing. Like, it's like diversity and that type of stuff matters. And, basically, when an organization faces a crisis like that, you've got a choice, and it's basically like adapt, or you might just die. And in romance, especially, there were so many expanding niches and stuff like that that Romance Writers of America just kind of ignored what was happening, that it just didn't work out for them, you know? And so it's
I mean,
not even about being woke. It's about them
right.
basically going, hey, um, acknowledging some of the issues that had happened in the past. I mean, you can't have outright racism within your organization and within your forums and not do something about it,
Right. No, I
So,
totally get that. And what I have trouble with, though, is a diversity hire, so to speak, or a diversity publishing, because I still believe a meritocracy is the most sustainable one going forward. But it is a sad, or not sad, but I mean, but it is a fact. It is reality that most organizations do have to make some sort of adjustment here.
well,
And
yeah, the part of it was when there's a difference between when I make a diversity hire because of someone's race or whatever, I'm just being just as discriminatory as if I didn't hire them because of that. But when you have blatant racism cases where this is a great book, this is a great book. One's by a white author, one's by a black author. The black author one gets shunned, and you
right,
can trace it back that it's deliberate. Well,
right,
man, okay, that's the wrong answer. But I also think if we do the same thing and we look at, okay, this is a white author, this is a black author, and we should acknowledge the black author's book. We should acknowledge it because it's better,
because
not
it's better.
because it's not because essentially my issue is the race and whatever related race, gender, sexual orientation, whatever, of whoever wrote the book should be irrelevant to whether or not it's a good book.
Right.
And it
I
doesn't
agree.
matter.
I agree.
And I think that's where the problem is when you're attaching any kind of reward or punishment to a book because of those things. That's where the problems come in. And
Right.
when that's happening within an organization and stuff like that is going on, you have to do something about that.
Right.
Now, what you have to do about that is, I mean, good grief, who knows in today's world? It's tough, but you have to do something. You have
Right.
to make some kind of a stand and make some kind of a statement. You can't just ignore that. It
Right.
doesn't. It's just not going to work in today's world at all, ever. So,
Right. Which is sort of a good segue into non-humans who write books, or that write
oh
books, or it writes books. I'm sure you've seen them, but there's not, to me anyway, there's, even to me, one too many commercials on YouTube, or advertisements I should call them, for like, you don't have to do anything anymore. AI will write your book.
mhm.
And like, it's the best. No more physical products. It's the best thing out there since sliced bread. Use AI to write your book, and we'll get it up on Amazon or whatever, and we'll even do it for you for the low cost of $14.99 or whatever
Yeah.
these assholes are doing. Like, it's becoming more and more prevalent.
Yeah, it is. And really, part of the solution is, look, part of the solution is to just be more human. Can AI come up with a plot? Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's not something that's exceptionally difficult to come up
Right?
with a
Because
plot.
yeah, yeah,
But the thing that it can't come up with is characters that have depth that people relate to. That's the thing AI can't do because it doesn't understand that. It never will. Because not AI as we have it now, not generative AI as we have it now. It's
right,
not ever going to fully understand that. And so creating books that are more human and more character focused is really one of the solutions. And maybe for some people, slowing down instead of trying to be so damn fast that you're using AI to put out a book every week.
yeah,
That's not, it's just not realistic. Um, and you're taking the humanity out of writing, which is what we turn to writing for, is humanity. That's what we turn to story for. And so when we take that
All art.
humanity out, it's not, I mean, it's not the same. And your brain and your body will know when you start to read it, and you will not like that as much as you like a book that is more human created.
Sure.
And you know that now, and I mean, I'm not saying this is that I'm not that there's not problems here, because there are people that are just reading that garbage and putting out that garbage, and
Right.
they don't care.
Right.
But at the same time, there are people that do care and that are putting in the work. And I think eventually there will be a split between readers, kind of like we talked about with AI audiobooks and stuff like that. There'll
Right.
be a split between readers. Some of them will put up with AI books and they'll read them, and that's fine, and that's good for them. And go do your thing, whatever. I don't really care.
Right.
It's not for me, but there will be those readers that focus on, I want human created books that are created by a real author that I can really connect with, that I can stay in touch with, that I can email and he answers his emails, you know, and stuff like that. And I think that's where the future of publishing of success for authors is going to lie, is in that area and reaching readers that care about that. And the rest of them, I mean, if they're going to go off and read AI books, they're going to go off and read AI books. There's nothing you can do about it. So,
No.
you
And they're
know,
going to pay for it. I suspect, tell me if I'm wrong, I suspect because it's easy.
yeah. Well,
I
it's
suspect a
easy.
lot
It's
of the,
not good.
but I mean, I suspect a lot of the genre or the preferred genre for AI books is like erotic romance,
Mhm.
you know, because, you know, it's the pizza guy plot or something, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the pizza guy, the '70s porno plot redone,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
know,
whatever. And well, and here's the thing, is part of it comes out of the rapid release philosophy that was around for a while that said good enough is good enough, and
right,
we're just gonna throw books out there as soon as they're done. We're just gonna throw it up there. Hey, if there's mistakes in it, there's stuff wrong with it, who cares? Good enough
right,
is good enough for some of these readers, it doesn't matter. The problem with good enough is good enough is that when it comes to AI, AI can create something that good enough is good enough, if
sure,
that's what you want. Well,
right,
that's if those readers that are satisfied by that are going to turn to AI because it's cheaper and it's easier, right? But authors that care are going to be like, and readers that care are going to be like, hey, no, that's not what I want. I mean, I tell people all the time, I'd rather AI learn to do my dishes and clean my house, not to write books for me. I
right,
want to write the books. That's my thing I want to do.
right.
If I can get AI to do all my other chores so I don't have to, hey, I'm
While
good
you're
with that.
writing,
And
absolutely,
I'm good with using AI for email copy and advertising copy and all that kind of stuff. I'm
sure.
happy with that. But, you know, I'm not anyway. So
The most I
I
use it
don't
for in nonfiction circles is you know, blog topics on mobile boat mechanics or something, you know, and
yeah.
that's legit, you know, so I can find
Yeah.
sources,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, that's as far as I've gone with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and you know, sometimes for creating outlines or for doing other stuff with articles and things like that, it's fine. AI is fine as long as
Right,
you're still keeping that human element into part of it. But there are some things that AI does well. And I'm perfectly happy using it for those because that frees me up for those creative activities. But I don't want those creative activities done for me by AI. I don't want to push a button and have a book created, because where's my joy in that I get out of
right,
that?
right,
That doesn't work for me. So I'm just not going to do that. But I mean, I understand. Again, no judgment. If people want to do it, that's fine. Um,
right,
those things will separate themselves out because the market has a way of doing that, and
right.
it's there's going to be some interesting times for authors, but it's not the death of human authors that people are crying about and all that
No,
kind of stuff.
no, of
It's
course not.
just not. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen.
Thank God.
So
And
I'm
our
not
life.
really worried about that, you know. But
And to take it a step further, and Dave Chesson, I'm sure you saw Dave Chesson's email about all the authors getting dropped on the
hmm
Amazon platform, and he has a sneaking suspicion AI has something to do with it, because it's hooking into the algorithms, and if it finds you're violating something or whatever,
hmm
so now it had me all paranoid, you know. because even though I'm making the shift to, direct sales, it hasn't taken off yet for me. So like I still rely on Amazon, of course.
Yeah, it's taking time. It's taking time for me to get everything done to switch it over, you
Yeah.
know? And so
Especially the
because there's a
notebook.
lot to do, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. But in the short term, yeah, we still need Amazon to push our books. We still need to do our books with Amazon. I mean, that's just the
Yeah.
way that it works.
Yep.
So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But
I had, and what was the other thing I meant to tell you? Were you and I talking about, or I was talking to another author about it actually, I think, but Draft to Digital announced that they were partnering up with a foreign rights outfit. But the foreign rights outfit wants you to pay up front. And so I went, not ballistic. I did originally. I went ballistic and did a YouTube video with a couple of Jamesons in me, and I was like, "Fuck these people," You can't, it's pay to play, it's whatever, blah 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 blah. The next morning, I was like, "Oh shit!" And I took it down, and I did another video, which was much more, let's say, family friendly. And I got
yeah,
a call from is it Mark Lefebvre
yeah,
from Draft to Digital? He's like, "Look at dude, let's have a Zoom call and let's talk about this." And
hmm
I did much more research into the company, and they are a legitimate foreign rights company.
oh yeah,
But the program that they're offering is almost exclusively for independent authors, and it's like you pay them a one-time fee. It's like $100 for one book, $500 for like 20 books, and everything above that's like $1,000 or something like that. But like Mark says, they do not take a percentage after that if you
yep,
get a
they
deal.
don't. Yeah,
So I was like,
Mark
okay,
is
I
a
could
super
take it
good
back.
guy too.
He is a good guy. Yes.
I know Mark really well. But anyway,
Yep.
so yeah.
I felt
But
bad
what
though too
happens in
because I'm like here I am like, going ballistic, and he's the nicest guy, and he just is like, and he gave me like 45 minutes of his time, and he didn't have to do
yeah.
that, and so I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, and I like what they're doing with those because gives an opportunity for indie authors to expand in some areas where they wouldn't have otherwise without a huge amount of expense and without because this is one of the reasons that indie authors were going with agents is foreign translation rights, stuff like that, right?
One of the
I mean,
reasons I still
because
have an agent. Yeah.
yeah, right. Because I mean, that was for a long time, that was the way to go. So if we can do it through Draft to Digital, we can do it fairly inexpensively. I'm 100% in favor of that.
Okay.
100% in favor of that.
All right. Now,
So,
since if it has your, then I'm
but
down with
yeah,
it.
I mean, that's in part, and I mean, I haven't always liked everything that Draft to Digital has done, but for the most part, they're acting ethically and in the interest of authors. And
They
that's
are.
really what matters to me.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I understand some of these things we may or may not agree with, or may want to not want to do myself, but for some indie authors, it's their only option, you
Right.
know? And so I'm willing to say, hey, that's not a bad deal if that's your only option, you
Right.
know?
I
So,
agree. And
yeah.
just from a personal perspective, my agent isn't even pursuing foreign rights anymore. And in
Yeah.
fact, he's doing very little agenting. What he's doing is he's uh, he's helping out publishers now,
hmm
helping him set up whatever, because he's just like agenting for the most part is dead. And
Yeah.
so I could go after another agent, but I'm not even sure it's worth it anymore.
Yeah.
Just not sure.
It's not for me, it's not worth it anymore. Now there are reasons to have um an agent, but for me, they're not compelling enough. I have a client that like she needs certain distribution placement for her manuscript.
Right.
She's a pilot and she needs them distributed in airport bookstores, and airport bookstores only buy order books from certain set of publishers. So you have to be published by one of those publishers in order to get the book in the location where she needs the book to be. right?
Right.
Okay, fine. Then you need an agent to get it into that publisher, that group of publishers, and get it into those airports,
Right.
airport bookstores. But for most people, like they don't have a niche distribution need like that, you
Right.
know? And so why bother? I mean, you're just adding somebody else to take a chunk of the pie from you
That's it.
along the line. Now, I mean, if you need somebody to negotiate film rights for you or
Right.
something like that, that's
Right.
Hollywood related and it's complex and there's all kinds of legalities. I mean, hey, I'd highly recommend you have an agent and attorney
Right.
check that stuff out because
Right.
otherwise you could get screwed royally out of
Sure.
lots and lots of money. You could be owed millions of
Absolutely.
dollars and get thousands instead. Uh,
Yep.
okay,
Or
I'm
nothing.
100% in favor of that. Or nothing, or you can end up with nothing.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm 100% in favor of that, but, that's kinda one of the only things, like, there's not really a lot of reason to have agents anymore. Um, it's I mean, nothing against anybody who wants one or who can't, because some people the other aspect is some people cannot do the business side of publishing. They don't know how, they don't wanna learn how, and if you
Right.
don't wanna learn how and you don't know how, well, you're gonna struggle. So,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
yeah.
And I have
But
one last
anyway,
question. One last question for you. I don't know if you know the answer because we're coming down to time here, and I want to get you back to business. Um, Kindle Vella, their new changes. Now, instead of giving away the first 3 chapters, and then you have to pay according to how long the chapter is after that. Now they're allowing people the first 10 chapters for free. And if you want to buy the rest of it, it's 10 tokens per chapter. And so immediately, like the paltry royalties of like $5 a month is now down to like $1 or $2.
mhm,
And even my bonuses this year have been pretty good until they started this, and even the bonus went down
yeah,
threefold, something like
everything's
that.
gone down from Bella. I'm looking at other platforms to do that type of thing.
Yeah,
So, one of them is Ream. I think it's one of the better platforms out there. Of course, you have to build your audience on Ream. It's not built for you like
right,
Amazon,
right,
but you keep more of the money. It's still a good place to practice. Like really, what I was using Bella for was to practice, put out chapters and stuff like that. I mean, so
me too.
it's really not worth it for that anymore. I'd rather do
Right.
that somewhere else. So,
Ream, how do you spell
um,
that for all of us?
Ream, a guy named Michael. Gosh, now his last name goes out of my head, but he's the founder of it, and he's got some great vision, some great ideas for Ream, and I'm 100%. I think first of all, they're doing the right thing. They're starting right, and they're doing the right thing.
In the right
If it
people.
takes off, it could be really, really awesome, and I think it's getting better and better all the time.
Right.
So me personally, I'm gonna, I mean, that's where I'm gonna put my time ahead of Bella. I'm done with the Amazon. There's just some things that Amazon have done lately that I'm seeing the writing on the wall, that unless Amazon makes some changes, they're gonna become less and less relevant instead of more relevant, and
Yeah, I think
I wanna
Bella's
be
just done
prepared for
personally.
that.
Yeah,
I wanna be prepared for that as an author. We all
sure.
knew this was happening and something else was gonna
Yep,
come after Amazon, we just didn't know what, and we
yep.
still don't know what, but I don't think that Amazon I think, you know, when we have the conversation 3 years from now, I think Amazon will be a much smaller part of it.
Can you imagine? And I bet they're biding their time. You'd have to talk to Mark, or we'd have Mark, maybe have Mark on as the third guest. Can you imagine the boon that will be to them one day
Yeah.
if Amazon suddenly just collapses in on itself or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this
People
is
will
the
make
thing.
that shift, and also to direct sales.
International, I mean, think about this. Okay, the way BookFunnel has evolved, right? That's what I do
Right,
a lot for a lot of the delivery of my digital stuff, and now they have audiobook delivery as well, right?
right. I saw that.
So, okay, so the boon for BookFunnel and for companies like Draft to Digital is the fact that as Amazon declines, especially internationally, those guys are set to cash in on that, and authors that are already with them are set to cash in on that.
Right,
Right? And to have some simplicity things like I love some of the stuff with Draft Digital. You co-write with somebody, it splits the royalties for you automatically. I don't even have to do it. There's no math.
Yeah,
I don't have to deal with anything at all. I mean,
so
come on.
simple. So
So
simple.
it's just making things easier and better for authors,
Right.
which was supposed to be the point of Amazon a long time ago anyway.
Right.
And now it's no longer that simple. So Amazon exclusivity, which made sense a long time ago, doesn't make near as much sense except for very few genres now. It makes no
No.
sense because
No.
you're leaving money on the table.
Sure.
And so I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm done
Right.
leaving money on the table, and
Yeah.
I'm done giving it to a big company like Amazon, who really, honestly, when we were first starting out as indie authors, they really cared about us because we were their backbone. Now they don't give a rip about indie authors at
No, not
all.
at all. Not at all.
You know,
Um,
not at
and
all.
speaking
Anyway,
of Draft to Digital, as I'm propagating PayHip, and I'm going to propagate Shopify too as well, and all this. I'm going nuts trying to find original manuscripts from like 10 years ago and all. And I'm like, wait a minute, go to Draft to Digital and you can download the Mobi, download the ebook, download the PDF, like, boom, it's done for you. I
yeah.
was like, oh my God, this is brilliant.
Oh yeah. And then even if you need to reformat those or whatever to update your back matter or whatever, you can do it really quick, really easy.
Quickly. Yeah.
Um, it's super worthwhile. Like it's a super worthwhile platform, especially for authors just starting out who aren't super tech savvy. I mean,
Right.
man alive. Anyway, just a great tool. Just a
Yeah.
great tool. But yeah.
Excellent. All right, man. Thanks, Troy.
All right.
I know you're a busy man, and
All
I
right.
want you to enjoy your travels. I'm gonna be, send me some photographs, and
Oh, for
hopefully we
sure.
can get you on next month, or if it's too crazy, we'll get you on in August. Because
Next
summer is
month I
busier.
should be home. I should be home next month. Should be
All right.
no problem at all.
All right.
So
Back behind your
but
NORAD setup.
we had my NORAD set up, all the fancy stuff. But yeah.
Okay, so next time you come on, you got to show the fans. You got to show them your setup, folks. You would not believe this. I
I
just
will.
still have like a computer in front of me, a laptop, and that's it. This guy's got like, he's got a rack. And it's like, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Monitors like, like, oh, incoming missiles from Moscow. It's like
Might as well
crazy.
know early so I can write about it.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, Troy. Thanks so much,
All right.
man. Where
You
can
betcha,
people
man.
find you? Uh,
TroyLambertWrites.com.
all right, I
Yeah.
got it, and it'll be down there, everybody, right down there. All right, brother. I will
All
talk to
right.
you soon.
Thank you, my man. We'll see you.
Ciao, 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 everybody.